What's up guys? So believe it or not, this is my first time in Guatapé. Since I'm leaving Colombia in a week, this is one of the things I wanted to hit before I left. So we're gonna be climbing this mountain and I'm gonna explain to you guys why I'm leaving Colombia.
My mind state for like the crime in the summertime. Higher than average, lot of cabbage. Thank God I never abide by the established guidelines.
Parece para llegar a la cima, ¿cuánto tiempo más o menos demora? Check out this view, man. This lake view is amazing. I can't believe I didn't come here sooner. There it is. The big rock. Si quieres saluda. ¿Eres de Medellín o de dónde? De Cali. Ah, chévere. All right, so where am I going? I'm going back to Asia. I'm going back to Asia. It's been something I've been thinking about for a while. Everything that's happening to me right now in Colombia is pretty much trying to push me out of the country.
I caught them a week ago. They were going through my Instagram. They had an old phone of mine, and then because I gave her my old laptop, they were on my account looking at all my things.
A couple days ago, I woke up, a notification saying that she went to the immigration office to ask them to revoke my visa. It feels like everything that they're trying to do, they're just trying to like damage me as much as possible, and it's really annoying, but I'm doing my best to try to take the high road and keep level-headed. But at the moment, I think the only way for me to do that really is for me to leave the country. Everywhere that I am here in Colombia, it just reminds me of my marriage and my divorce and everything.
I feel like I'm stuck, and I feel like I need to go for me to grow as a person. You know, I feel like I've learned everything that I wanted to learn from Colombia. I think what makes me the happiest as a creator, where I found my audience connects with my stuff the most, is when I'm inspired and I'm authentic and I'm able to take creative risks, to talk about subjects that a lot of people don't want to talk about, be a lot more thought-provoking.
So as I get older and after the marriage, I felt a real strong connection to trying to rediscover my roots. I did ayahuasca this last weekend and it was a really crazy, intense experience that I will tell you guys about in the future. But one of the things that I saw when I was tripping, I saw my grandpa, my dad, and I felt a strong sense of like honor and urgency to carry on my family name. And I believe that me going back to Asia will help me better understand myself, because after the marriage, I kind of am lost. I'm not entirely sure what I want for my life or from women, what I want to do with my channel. Everything is open-ended, so I feel like now is the best time compared to any other time for me to go and take this trip.
And it's really exciting being able to go to Thailand because they're Buddhist. My family is Buddhist, so I'm gonna meditate a lot, maybe study Muay Thai and learn about the Thai way of life. Go to the Philippines to see my family, maybe Vietnam, maybe the Middle East, and I want to be able to learn from all of them. And I think along the way, I'll have a better understanding of who I am and what I really want. Got married very young, obviously. A lot of people you guys have told me that. I did what I believed was right at the time. And I think that if we're all being honest with ourselves, that's all that we do, right? I'm a very idealistic person. You know, I try to be as optimistic as possible, but sometimes life has different plans. When you think you know everything and you figure out the secret to life, life has a way of like throwing an oddball at you.
Spectacular. So obviously this isn't goodbye forever. You know, I definitely still want to come back here. I believe like Colombia has my heart. I've learned so much about life here, so much about what it means to be a man, to be a husband, to be a father. When I first came to Colombia, I was a little naive, I was pretty young. I had a very small-minded view of the world and I thought I knew everything. But then as I get older and all these life experiences happen to me, I start to realize that I don't really know anything.
I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about how I would react in times of struggle when I have to survive and I have nothing tying me down. I have no safety net. I just have to go and make for a life for myself in a new country. And I made a lot of mistakes on the way. In the end, I think it taught me a lot of very valuable life lessons. It's true, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. When I was in Manizales and I got super involved with religion and my wife and everything, like I was changing, you know, and I thought I was changing for the good until I realized a point where I was like, is this the kind of person that I want to be? And as soon as I decided no and wanted to pursue my own path again, that's when they started coming after me.
I'm not gonna lie, I felt very trapped. My wife didn't let me grow, the church didn't let me grow because, you know, everything that we learned or talked about had to be in the confines of religion. And I think religion is totally cool, but it has blinded them to believing that everything that they're doing right now against me is justified. I was thinking about why I got sucked into the church and why I liked it so much, and you know, why did I fall for this? And I realized that
when I first went to Manizales and I met the people from this community, they welcomed me with open arms. They were extremely nice and welcoming and happy and saying that it's because of God's love that they're this way. They said that it doesn't matter where you come from, we're going to accept you how you are.
And that's what I fell in love with, and that's why I thought religion and Christianity was beautiful. But as soon as I got in and as soon as I got married, it was like, no, now you have to live this way of life, or if not, you'll be ostracized.
If what the pastor is preaching is really true about how the family unit should be, where the man should be a provider, the woman should be at home with the kids.
Why are there so many single moms? Why are there so many women who can't find husbands? Why do none of the women want any of the men from the church because they think they're weak or unambitious?
Most of the men from the church were not providing for their homes. They were either being provided for by the church or their wives were doing more of the work. This is only something you can really see once you're in the church and you get to know the people. So as soon as I started pointing out all these contradictions, I was like, wait a minute, no, this is not how I want to live my life.
I started realizing that all these people that I was surrounded myself with, God didn't really change them. They've been praying on the same things for the last 10, 15 years, and they're still having the same issues with anger or cheating or alcohol. If God has really saved them like they claim, for example, what happened in my life with my dad and I, how I was able to remend that relationship, I really felt like God was working in my life. They believed that faith was the only important thing, and I believe that faith without work is dead. And I noticed that in that church, there was a lot of people who had the faith, but they were not doing the work. And I didn't want to surround myself with those kind of people. I remember one night, and this is when most of the problems just started going downhill, I told my wife, I don't want to go to the church anymore. And I started explaining my reasons why. I was like, I want to explore other churches. I want to see other ways of thinking. And as soon as I said that, she had all the alarm bells off, and that's when she started telling people about our relationship, and everything went downhill. Getting a little packed now, and I probably should have came earlier, but that's okay. 10:30. It's pretty solid. Yeah, there's a lot more people than I thought there was gonna be. But the view's sick. Anybody who spends enough time in a place, for the first year or so, it's probably pretty much like the honeymoon phase. So everything about the country is really amazing. You know, you see no faults with it. And I definitely fell into that category as well. As soon as you learn the language, learn the culture, you start to understand all of the problems that Colombia has with corruption, with the infrastructure, with the bureaucracy, just like everything in the world, right? There's no real paradise. There's only like pros and cons. When I came back to Medellín, I started seeing all the good things, and I remembered why I fell in love with the city. But then after being there for a couple months, I realized like I'm a small city person. I would still recommend people come to the country though. You know, Colombia has a lot of things to offer. If it's for tourism, there's a lot of really amazing things to see here. And if it's to live, there's a lot of really amazing things to learn here as well. Like, I'm very thankful that Colombia taught me how to love your family. I think that's the biggest value of this country that I admire a ton. I think they have a really good work-life balance. The friendliness and the really warmness of the people is something that I've never seen in any other country in the world. Sí, ¿cómo te sientes? ¿Bien?
Buena vida.
Sí, eso. All right, it seems like a straight shot from here. So here, we're at the top of Guatapé. I made my decision like a month ago to leave the country because I remember one weekend, I got like several death threats back to back. So I got another one from Nathaly, and then I got one from some guy who was living here in Medellín, who was really angry that the rent prices are going up, and he was blaming me for it. I was walking through Provenza one day, and I just heard a guy running up behind me because he was trying to set something up for a stage, and I literally almost just turned around and smacked him because I was so on edge. And that's when I realized, okay, I think I need to be out of the country for a bit. There's this book that I love, The Alchemist. Every time I read it, there's always like a new quote that I get. Feast when it's time to feast, rest when it's time to rest, but move on when it's time to move on. And I think the point in my life that I'm at right now is I have to move on. When I did the ayahuasca trip, there was a vision that came to me where it showed like my life map on the ground. I was sitting at the middle of the map, and everything behind me was extremely rocky, but then everything ahead of me was like smooth sailing. And the only thing stopping me from reaching that point in my life was leaving Colombia. And that's one of the things that the ayahuasca taught me to do. I don't know how long I'm gonna be out for. I have a feeling it's gonna be probably towards the end of the year. You know, I would have to come back to Colombia because I have money here, I have businesses here, I have to finish up the divorce. I had to delete a lot of videos on my channel. I'm losing everything that I had in Nathaly. But what they can't take away is like my channel and my subscribers, you guys, and all like my musical talent, all the experience that I've gotten like living here. They can't take that away from me. I just wanted to thank you guys for rocking with me. So catch y'all later, bye.